Fountain of Youth, released on Apple TV+, wants to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, but only reminds us how great that film was. Natalie Portman and John Krasinski star as siblings who aspire to be Indiana Jones, although Natalie Portman's character is somewhat reluctant. She's an art museum curator and mom going through a divorce, Charlotte Purdue. Her brother Luke is a daring adventurer who's hired by a billionaire to steal a series of great paintings. Why is he doing this? The movie gives us a convoluted answer. It doesn't involve the Illuminati or the Freemasons, but the Vatican is brought into the story. Turns out that the great masters such as Rembrandt were all in on a big secret, the location of the Fountain of Youth. They painted clues into their canvases. Seems to me Luke Purdue could have just snapped a photo instead of stealing the paintings. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But I guess his iPhone wasn't working, and it would be wrong, of course, for Hollywood to turn this movie into a sales opportunity for cell phone insurance, so I believe I get it. And so this part of the movie with the paintings corresponds to the first part of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indiana Jones uses the Staff of Ra with the right measurements, remember that? To find the location of the Ark of the Covenant. But before they find the Fountain of Youth, they take a detour to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean where one of the canvases lies sunken in the depths aboard the ill-fated Lusitania. And they raise the Lusitania rather easily with just a couple of flotation devices. They look like inflatable arm sleeves, so we all understand this technology. They find the painting, which was stored in an airtight safe aboard the Lusitania and is wrapped in what looks like a red well with a couple of rubber bands around it. Regardless, both these movies end up in Egypt, Cairo, and I won't give away more than that about the location of the Fountain of Youth. But the ending. If we wanted a callback to Raiders of the Lost Ark, we get that here. Raiders of the Lost Ark taught us that some secrets do have a supernatural dimension, and although it might have been different if the Fountain of Youth had turned out to be a superfood, like, for instance, kidney beans or sprouts, they went with the supernatural. The story tells us that the secrets of the Fountain of Youth are hidden within canvases, and a scene in the movie takes place at the museum where Charlotte is the curator. On the wall is a copy of the famous painting of Henry VIII by Hans Holbein the Younger. The original was destroyed in a fire, but Holbein the Younger is also known for a different painting called The Ambassadors, which was commissioned for the French ambassador, but might have been commissioned for him by Anne Boleyn, apparently just after she gave birth to Elizabeth, who became Elizabeth I. The painting uses the anamorphic perspective to depict a human skull. There it is right there. When looking at this painting from above it on the right side, the skull will appear at certain points without the distortion. Scholars have debated why this image is in the painting. Renaissance painters often used skulls to represent mortality. Anne Boleyn might have felt mortal indeed just after giving birth, or maybe by then she already understood King Henry's murderous inclinations. Regardless, we don't know why the skull is there. The person pictured on the left is Jean de Dinteville, the French ambassador to London, for whom the painting was commissioned. The person on the right is a Catholic bishop, Georges de Selve. I can only speculate why the skull is there. It seems to me that Anne Boleyn might have trusted these French officials or was reaching out to them. It seems possible that Henry VIII was a person of letters and not necessarily aware of these trends in visual art. In any event, I mention this because the character of Luke in Fountain of Youth uses a knockout drug to incapacitate two women in the movie, his sister and a curator of a museum in Vienna. It's played for laughs, but, for example, Raiders of the Lost Ark never sedated Marion Ravenwood. That film stands many, many miles above this movie. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.